Whenever I get a new hard drive like this one, I always like to check the drive for errors before I start using it, just to be sure that it's an actual good drive and return it if there is problems. Now there's two main sources I get the data from. The first source is called Smart Data. This is included on almost every brand new hard drive from the last 15 some years now. Though some USB drives like this one might block the data, but almost every internal drive like this one, you can access the data on. Smart Data basically comes from the internal hard drive controller and will show you things like how many hours it has, any errors it has encountered, or anything. There's lots of programs out there, such as Smart Control on Linux, HD Tune on Windows, Disk Utility and macOS 10 will show it to you. That will show you the info, and this info can easily show you what's bad in a drive, how many hours it has, and just its general health and status. The other type of test I normally run is a full read-write of the disk. Some disks, even if they do show the smart data correctly, can still have errors if you do a full scan of the drive. And this will basically account to writing a pattern on every single sector of this platters inside here, and then reading it to make sure it's the exact same as the data you put in. So I've just plugged a new drive into the system here, and as it shows that it has no space used. It's already formatted, I think, as NTFS and ready to use. It shows it has 3.63 TB available, and that's because 4 terabytes is about equivalent to 3.63 TB, just that's how conversion works. It comes with all these WD apps and stuff on them, which I personally never used, never found them useful, but I do normally keep them in another folder. Here I have a little folder to put them in just for, I might need it for some manual or something in the future. So here's one of my favorite smart monitoring tools on Windows. It's called Crystal Disk Info. It basically tells you all the same data that all the other monitors show you via Smart Data. It's just reading the data off the drive and putting it in an interface for you. Now, there's a ton of data here. There's only a few that actually really seem to matter a lot. And the big ones are the reallocated sector count, which you can read here as 0. One thing to note with Crystal Disk Info, at least, is this is going to be a hex value. So if you can see something like a C or an F sometimes, and those are valid numbers, and that can be a bit interesting. The general rule of thumb is it's pretty good about telling you if there's any reallocated or any of the bad things that will tell you that it's warning of bad here. It also tells you like power on count, so it's been turned on 7 times, which is pretty much normal. 0 power on hours, it's a brand new drive. For programs that can do full read-write tests, normally my favorite is HD Tune. And I do like using the program. I feel it's quite a nice little program. But it seems to have the error that on this system, at least with this drive, it only shows it as 2.2 terabytes, probably due to some limit of, I think, 32-bit, I want to say. It will look for errors. It does have this error scan and a few cool things, but they haven't updated it since now, and it doesn't support bigger drives, so that's kind of annoying. And that leaves you with, the only ones I know of now is the ones on Linux as bad blocks. So here I am booted into Fedora Linux. I can view the drives in GNOME disks. This will be the same with pretty much any GNOME-based distro. This one actually doesn't show smart data. It's grayed out here because it probably just doesn't have ability for that of a SATA drive or of a USB drive. But if I go on smart-a/dev/sdb into less, it probably will show it. But unfortunately on Linux I can't seem to get access to the smart data with either of the utilities. It throws an error. But fortunately I do have access to bad blocks on Linux. So if I go bad blocks, WSV, so bad blocks is a program. It will essentially run through every part of the drive. W means write, S means show, so to show you which errors are shown up and what percentage it is done. And verbose will show you more information if there's errors. And then you want to show the drive location. Now, one word of warning, if you have this write flag set, it will delete all the data on the drives and there's no way to recover it. You do also have to run it as a sudo user or as an admin. And it will take a while and will write full data to the drive and look at it. Depending on the drive, how fast the drive is, how big the drive is, this can easily take a while. It's 0.101% done and it's been about 10 seconds. So this drive will probably take about 2 days to complete a full scan. Now, with this external drive, I'm probably fine. Smart Data in Windows says it's fine, working correctly. But on an old drive or used drive that I don't know too much about, I almost always run these tests just to make sure the drive is fine before I reuse it in another situation. Now, since the smart data says it's fine, I'm going to cancel this scan, and I'm going to put it into use, formatting, and set it up for backups.